A recent state law change allows the police to take your DNA upon arrest. That's a big change, meaning even suspects, not convicts, are in a nationwide database.
Our Meredith Aldis shows us how the Krystal Jean Baker Act is intended to stop crime and solve cases.
This law is named after a 13-year-old kidnapping victim from 1996. Someone raped and killed Krystal Jean Baker, and despite collecting DNA evidence, police couldn't name her killer. 14 years later, Louisiana police arrested a man for an unrelated charge and took his DNA. Kevin Edison Smith matched the DNA in Baker's case. He pleaded guilty to her murder.
He took everything from me when he took my daughter, and he took everything from her that day.
Under the Krystal Jean Baker Act, law enforcement is not required to wait for a conviction to gather DNA.
It could be a game-changing thing for a number of cases.
Instead, it's taken upon arrest for a qualifying felony and put into the Combined DNA Index System, or CODIS.
Anytime you put people on the streets in charge of determining when somebody's private DNA, private data should be collected, obvious concerns.
Frederick Stengel is a defense attorney. He says the state could be violating your Fourth Amendment rights.
Officers are out there trying to do the best they can, making judgment calls on the scene. They're not always right, okay? And even if they are right, it's still such a low burden that has to be met that it's very worrisome to me as far as at the end of the day, the true constitutionality of that kind of seizure.
The act helps to grow the database and makes it easier to get DNA.
They shouldn't be able to take your blood and get your DNA without your consent or without a good reason.
If it's an unknown, it may help eliminate other suspects or other people who persons of interest.
If a person who has had their DNA taken is found innocent or the case is dismissed, the state is supposed to destroy the sample. But attorneys urge caution.
Where that information has been sent to that point, who still maintains custody of it, who might have access to it in the future, that's a problem.
Since September 1st, Texas law enforcement agencies have matched more than 45 samples to existing cases in the CODIS system.
They're presupposing that people charged with this particular offense are more likely to have committed a previous offense of a similar type.
10% of the population commit 90% of the crimes. So there is a recidivist rate in the criminal justice system.
Texas DPS Deputy Director Skylar Hearn says the goal of the Baker Act is to bring closure to victims and prevent further victimization by an offender that's on the loose.
So it saves months or years potentially for matching an existing case.
Both prosecutors and defense attorneys say they know the risks of gathering this high-tech data.
With scientific and technical forms of information that can go along with, what someone saw, what they heard, what went on, relationships and things like that, more clarity is always better.
It provides us a lot of ability to access information, but it also provides the ingenious criminal the ability to know what we do and how we do it.
There are more than 14 million profiles in the National DNA Index, according to the FBI. More than 925,000 of those are Texans. Federal agents credit CODIS with assisting more than 36,000 investigations in our state. Meredith Aldis, Fox 34, News at 9.